Marcus Chen's back hurt. His arms hurt. Even his feet hurt. He had worked 2 shifts today, loading cargo boxes onto ships at New Terra Station. The pay was not good, but it was enough. Enough to keep his daughter fed. Enough to keep a roof over their heads. He walked through the busy hallways of the station, dodging aliens of all shapes and sizes. Some had 4 arms, some had tentacles, some floated in the air. Marcus was used to it now. He had lived on the station for 3 years, ever since his wife died. The daycare center was in section C7. Marcus pressed his hand against the scanner and the door opened. Inside, human children played with alien children. His daughter Lily sat in the corner, drawing a picture of a spaceship. "Daddy!" She jumped up and ran to him, her small arms wrapped around his legs. "Hey, kiddo?" Marcus smiled for the first time all day. He ruffled her dark hair. "Ready to go home?" Lily nodded and grabbed her backpack. Marcus took her hand and they left the daycare. He felt the weight of the paper bag in his other hand. 2 sandwiches, cheap bread, some processed meat, a little bit of cheese. That was dinner tonight. "Are we taking the long way or the short way?" Lily asked. Marcus looked at his watch. It was late. He was tired. "Short way," he said. The short way meant going through the lower market district. It was not dangerous, but it was not nice either. Old shops selling spare parts. Food stalls with strange smells. Dark corners where people did business they did not want others to see. Marcus held Lily's hand tighter as they walked. The lights here were dim, some flickered. The floor was dirty and stained. "Daddy, what's that sound?" Lily asked. Marcus stopped. He heard it too, a soft crying sound, like a child trying to be quiet, but failing. "Stay close," he told Lily. He followed the sound to a narrow space between 2 cargo containers. There, huddled in the shadows, was a small alien child. She was like nothing Marcus had seen before. Her skin had scales that shimmered with blue and purple colors. Small wings, no bigger than his hand, stuck out from her back. Her eyes were golden and full of tears. The child looked up at Marcus. She made a small noise like a frightened bird. Her whole body shook. "Hey, it's okay," Marcus said softly. He knew that voice. It was his dad voice, the one that made Lily feel safe when she had nightmares. "We're not going to hurt you." He knelt down slowly. The alien child pressed herself against the wall, but she watched him. Lily peeked around Marcus's leg. "She's scared, Daddy." "I know, sweetie." Marcus looked at the child's face. She was young, maybe the same age as Lily. And she was alone. Where were her parents? The alien child's stomach made a loud growling sound. Her golden eyes went wide with embarrassment. "Are you hungry?" Marcus asked. The child did not answer. Maybe she did not understand English, but her eyes looked at the paper bag in his hand. Marcus opened the bag. He took out 1 sandwich and unwrapped it. "Here," he said, holding it out. The alien child stared at the sandwich, then at Marcus, then back at the sandwich. Slowly, very slowly, she reached out with a small clawed hand. She grabbed the sandwich and pulled it close. She sniffed it. Then she took a bite. Her eyes went wide. She ate faster, shoving the food into her mouth. In seconds, the sandwich was gone. Lily tugged on Marcus's sleeve. "Daddy, she's still hungry." Marcus looked at the remaining sandwich in the bag. His sandwich, his dinner, his stomach was empty too. He had not eaten since breakfast, and that had only been some crackers. He looked at Lily, then at the alien child. The child's golden eyes were big and hopeful. Marcus sighed and took out the second sandwich. "Here, this one too." The alien child took it with both hands. This time she ate more slowly. When she finished, she looked at Marcus and made a soft chirping sound. "You're welcome," Marcus said. He pulled out his communicator and called station security. "Hi, I found a lost child in the lower market. Section G4, near the old fuel depot. She's alien. Looks like some kind of reptile species. Can you send someone?" The voice on the other end said they would send a team. Marcus sat down on the floor, his back against a cargo container. Lily sat next to him. The alien child watched them carefully. "What's your name?" Lily asked the child. The alien child tilted her head. She made a sound that was like a musical note mixed with a hiss. "That's a pretty name," Lily said, even though she could not repeat it. They waited. Marcus made funny faces to make both children laugh. He played a simple game with his hands, making shadow puppets on the wall. The alien child started to relax. She even smiled, showing small, sharp teeth. What Marcus did not know was that someone else was watching. Hidden in the shadows above, standing on a maintenance platform, Queen Ixathara of the Draconis Imperium watched everything. Her large form was covered by a cloaking device. Her own golden eyes, so much like her daughter's, never left the human man below. She had placed her daughter Zintha here as a test, a trial. All young dragons of royal blood had to survive alone for one night. It taught them strength. It taught them to trust no one. In 500 years, no one had ever helped a dragon child during the trial. Other species knew better. They could sense the power in dragon blood. They stayed away out of fear or wisdom. But this human did not stay away. This human gave his food, his own food, to a strange child he did not know. The queen watched as the human made her daughter laugh. She watched as his own small child shared her joy with Zintha. She watched as the human's stomach growled with hunger, but he showed no regret for giving away his meal. What kind of species was this? The queen's communicator buzzed. Her guards were asking if they should interfere. She told them no, not yet. She wanted to see what this human would do next. Station security arrived 10 minutes later. They were surprised to see a human man sitting with a dragon child. They were even more surprised when their scanners identified which dragon child it was. "Sir," one of the security officers said nervously, "do you know who this is?" Marcus looked at the alien child. "A lost kid who needed help?" The security officer's face went pale. "Sir, this is Princess Zintha of the Draconis Imperium." Marcus blinked. He looked at the small child sitting next to him. She was playing with Lily's hair, making it stand up with small bits of static electricity. "Princess?" Marcus said slowly. "As in, royalty?" Before the security officer could answer, the air itself seemed to ripple. The cloaking device deactivated. Standing before them was a dragon that had to be 12 feet tall. Her scales were deep purple and black. Her wings, folded against her back, could probably wrap around a car. Her eyes glowed with golden fire. Every human and alien in the area immediately dropped to their knees or bowed. Every human except Marcus, who was too shocked to move. Queen Ixathara looked down at the human who had fed her daughter. Her voice, when she spoke, was like thunder and silk mixed together. "Human," she said, "we need to talk." Marcus Chen's back hurt. His arms hurt. Even his feet hurt. He had worked 2 shifts today, loading cargo boxes onto ships at New Terra Station. The pay was not good, but it was enough. Enough to keep his daughter fed. Enough to keep a roof over their heads. He walked through the busy hallways of the station, dodging aliens of all shapes and sizes. Some had 4 arms. Some had tentacles. Some floated in the air. Marcus was used to it now. He had lived on the station for 3 years, ever since his wife died. The daycare center was in section C7. Marcus pressed his hand against the scanner and the door opened. Inside, human children played with alien children. His daughter Lily sat in the corner, drawing a picture of a spaceship. "Daddy!" She jumped up and ran to him, her small arms wrapped around his legs. "Hey, kiddo!" Marcus smiled for the first time all day. He ruffled her dark hair. "Ready to go home?" Lily nodded and grabbed her backpack. Marcus took her hand, and they left the daycare. He felt the weight of the paper bag in his other hand. 2 sandwiches, cheap bread, some processed meat, a little bit of cheese. That was dinner tonight. "Are we taking the long way or the short way?" Lily asked. Marcus looked at his watch. It was late. He was tired. "Short way," he said. The short way meant going through the lower market district. It was not dangerous, but it was not nice either. Old shops selling spare parts, food stalls with strange smells, dark corners where people did business they did not want others to see. Marcus held Lily's hand tighter as they walked. The lights here were dim, some flickered. The floor was dirty and stained. "Daddy, what's that sound?" Lily asked. Marcus stopped. He heard it too. A soft, crying sound, like a child trying to be quiet but failing. "Stay close," he told Lily. He followed the sound to a narrow space between 2 cargo containers. There, huddled in the shadows, was a small alien child. She was like nothing Marcus had seen before. Her skin had scales that shimmered with blue and purple colors. Small wings, no bigger than his hand, stuck out from her back. Her eyes were golden and full of tears. The child looked up at Marcus. She made a small noise like a frightened bird. Her whole body shook. "Hey, it's okay," Marcus said softly. He knew that voice. It was his dad voice, the one that made Lily feel safe when she had nightmares. "We're not going to hurt you." He knelt down slowly. The alien child pressed herself against the wall, but she watched him. Lily peeked around Marcus's leg. "She's scared." "Daddy." "I know, sweetie." Marcus looked at the child's face. She was young, maybe the same age as Lily. And she was alone. Where were her parents? The alien child's stomach made a loud growling sound. Her golden eyes went wide with embarrassment. "Are you hungry?" Marcus asked. The child did not answer. Maybe she did not understand English. But her eyes looked at the paper bag in his hand. Marcus opened the bag. He took out one sandwich and unwrapped it. "Here," he said, holding it out. The alien child stared at the sandwich, then at Marcus, then back at the sandwich. Slowly, very slowly, she reached out with a small clawed hand. She grabbed the sandwich and pulled it close. She sniffed it. Then she took a bite. Her eyes went wide. She ate faster, shoving the food into her mouth. In seconds, the sandwich was gone. Lily tugged on Marcus's sleeve. "Daddy, she's still hungry." Marcus looked at the remaining sandwich in the bag. His sandwich, his dinner. His stomach was empty too. He had not eaten since breakfast, and that had only been some crackers. He looked at Lily, then at the alien child. The child's golden eyes were big and hopeful. Marcus sighed and took out the second sandwich. "Here, this one too." The alien child took it with both hands. This time she ate more slowly. When she finished, she looked at Marcus and made a soft, chirping sound. "You're welcome," Marcus said. He pulled out his communicator and called station security. "Hi, I found a lost child in the lower market, section G4, near the old fuel depot. She's alien, looks like some kind of reptile species. Can you send someone?" The voice on the other end said they would send a team. Marcus sat down on the floor, his back against a cargo container. Lily sat next to him. The alien child watched them carefully. "What's your name?" Lily asked the child. The alien child tilted her head. She made a sound that was like a musical note mixed with a hiss. "That's a pretty name," Lily said, even though she could not repeat it. They waited. Marcus made funny faces to make both children laugh. He played a simple game with his hands, making shadow puppets on the wall. The alien child started to relax. She even smiled. showing small, sharp teeth. What Marcus did not know was that someone else was watching. Hidden in the shadows above, standing on a maintenance platform, Queen Ixthara of the Draconis Imperium watched everything. Her large form was covered by a cloaking device. Her own golden eyes, so much like her daughter's, never left the human man below. She had placed her daughter Zintha here as a test, a trial. All young dragons of royal blood had to survive alone for one night. It taught them strength. It taught them to trust no one. In 500 years, no one had ever helped a dragon child during the trial. Other species knew better. They could sense the power in dragon blood. They stayed away out of fear or wisdom. But this human did not stay away. This human gave his food, his own food, to a strange child he did not know. The queen watched as the human made her daughter laugh. She watched as his own small child shared her joy with Zintha. She watched as the human's stomach growled with hunger, but he showed no regret for giving away his meal. What kind of species was this? The queen's communicator buzzed. Her guards were asking if they should interfere. She told them no, not yet. She wanted to see what this human would do next. Station security arrived 10 minutes later. They were surprised to see a human man sitting with a dragon child. They were even more surprised when their scanners identified which dragon child it was. "Sir," one of the security officers said nervously, "do you know who this is?" Marcus looked at the alien child. "A lost kid who needed help?" The security officer's face went pale. "Sir, this is Princess Zintha of the Draconis Imperium." Marcus blinked. He looked at the small child sitting next to him. She was playing with Lily's hair, making it stand up with small bits of static electricity. "Princess?" Marcus said slowly. "As in royalty?" Before the security officer could answer, the air itself seemed to ripple. The cloaking device deactivated. Standing before them was a dragon that had to be 12 feet tall. Her scales were deep purple and black. Her wings, folded against her back, could probably wrap around a car. Her eyes glowed with golden fire. Every human and alien in the area immediately dropped to their knees or bowed. Every human except Marcus, who was too shocked to move. Queen Ixthara looked down at the human who had fed her daughter. Her voice, when she spoke, was like thunder and silk mixed together. "Human," she said, "we need to talk." Marcus had seen many things in his 3 years on New Terra Station. He had seen aliens that looked like walking trees. He had seen ships bigger than mountains. He had seen technology that seemed like magic. But he had never seen anything like Queen Ixthara. The Dragon Queen stood in the center of the market, and everyone around them was frozen in fear or respect. Her guards appeared from nowhere, surrounding the area. They wore black armor that seemed to absorb light. Their weapons hummed with energy. Marcus finally remembered to breathe. Lily held his hand so tight it hurt. The small dragon child, Princess Zintha, ran to her mother. But instead of hugging her, the princess stopped a few feet away and bowed her head. No joy, no relief, just formal respect. Queen Ixthara looked at her daughter. "You survived the trial," she said. Her voice had no warmth in it. "Yes, mother," Zintha said quietly. The queen turned her attention back to Marcus. "Human, stand." Marcus stood on shaky legs. He kept Lily behind him. "What is your name?" the queen asked. "Marcus Chen, your majesty." He was not sure if that was the right title, but it seemed safe. "Marcus Chen." The queen said his name like she was tasting it. "Do you know what you have done?" Marcus swallowed hard. I gave a hungry kid some food?" One of the guards made an angry hissing sound. How dare this human speak so casually to the queen? But Queen Ixthara held up one clawed hand. The guard went silent. "You interfered with a sacred trial," the queen said. For 500 years we have tested our young this way. We leave them alone in a strange place. They must survive the night using only their wits and strength. It teaches them that they can trust no one but themselves." Marcus felt anger rising in his chest. It pushed past his fear. "You left a child alone in a dangerous place on purpose?" The crowd gasped. You did not question the queen. "It is our way," the queen said. Her eyes narrowed. "It's cruel," Marcus said. The words came out before he could stop them. "She's just a kid. She was terrified. She was hungry. What kind of parent does that?" Lily tugged on his hand. "Daddy," she whispered, "you're making the Dragon Queen mad." But Marcus could not stop. He thought about all the nights he had held Lily when she was scared. All the times he had made sure she knew she was safe and loved. The idea of leaving her alone to be frightened made him sick. "I don't care if it's tradition," Marcus said. "A child needed help. Any decent person would help." The queen stared at him. The silence stretched out. Marcus was sure he was about to die. Then the queen did something unexpected. She laughed. It was not a cruel laugh. It was a laugh of genuine surprise. "You are either very brave or very foolish, Marcus Chen," she said. "No one has spoken to me like that in a century." She moved closer. Marcus held his ground, even though every instinct told him to run. "But there is a problem," the queen continued. "You fed a member of the royal bloodline. In our culture, this creates a life debt. I am now bound by honor to repay you." She gestured to one of her guards. The guard brought forward a small chest and opened it. Inside were credit chips, glowing with value, more money than Marcus had ever seen. "This should be sufficient," the queen said. Marcus looked at the money. He thought about his tiny apartment, his broken-down furniture. The way he had to choose between paying for heat or buying Lily new shoes. That money would change everything. But when he looked at little Zintha, still standing rigid and formal by her mother, all he felt was sadness. "I don't want payment," Marcus said. The queen's eyes widened. "What?" "I don't want money for being a decent human being," Marcus said. "She was hungry. I fed her. That's not something you pay for. That's just what you do." The queen looked confused, truly confused. "Everything has a price, human. Every action is a transaction. You must want something." Marcus sighed. "The only thing I want is for you to hug your daughter and tell her she's safe." The crowd went completely silent. Even the guards stopped moving. Queen Ixathara stared at Marcus like he had spoken in an alien language. "What?" "She was scared," Marcus said more gently now. "She's still scared. Look at her." The queen looked at Zintha, really looked at her. The princess was standing very straight, very still, but her small hands were shaking. Her wings were pressed tight against her back. "We do not show weakness," the queen said, but her voice was softer now. "It's not weakness to need comfort," Marcus said. "It's just being alive." For a long moment, nothing happened. Then Queen Ixthara did something she had not done since Zintha was a baby. She bent down and opened her arms. Zintha looked shocked, then hopeful. Then she ran into her mother's arms and started crying. Real crying with big tears and small sobbing sounds. The queen held her daughter, her large wings wrapped around the small princess. "I am here," she whispered. "You are safe." Marcus looked away to give them privacy. He felt Lily lean against his leg. "That was nice, Daddy," Lily said. After a few minutes, the queen stood up. She looked different somehow, less like a statue and more like a person. "Marcus Chen," she said, "you have refused payment, but the debt remains. I cannot leave it unpaid, so I offer you this instead." She gestured, and one of her guards brought forward a tablet. "I will sponsor your daughter's education at the Imperial Academy. It is the finest school in the galaxy. I will also give you a position as cultural ambassador. You will live in the royal district and teach us about human ways." Marcus shook his head. "I can't just leave. My job, my apartment, my life is here." "Your job pays barely enough to survive," the Queen said. It was not an insult, just a fact. "Your apartment has a broken heating system and a leaking pipe in the bathroom. You work 2 shifts and still struggle. I know this because I had you investigated in the last 10 minutes. Marcus felt his face go red. She was right about all of it. "The Academy would give your daughter opportunities you cannot," the Queen continued. "And you have something to teach us. Something we have forgotten." "What's that?" Marcus asked. "Compassion," the Queen said simply. "You showed it to a strange child without thinking, without wanting reward. This is unusual. We could learn from it." Marcus looked down at Lily. She looked up at him with big eyes. "Can I think about it?" he asked. "No," the Queen said. Then she smiled slightly. "That is a joke. Yes, you may think about it, but know this, Marcus Chen. The debt must be paid. If you refuse this offer, I will find another way. I could make your life very comfortable or very complicated. I would prefer comfortable." Marcus laughed despite himself. "Is that a threat or a bribe?" "Both," the Queen said. "I am a queen. I am allowed to be complicated." She picked up Zintha. The princess looked tired, but happier. "I will return in 3 days for your answer," the Queen said. "But I have one condition of my own." "What's that?" Marcus asked. "If you accept, you will be allowed to see Zintha regularly, and you will treat her not as a princess, but as any child who needs kindness." The Queen looked at her daughter. I think that is important." Marcus felt something warm in his chest. Maybe this was crazy. Maybe he should run away. But when he looked at Zintha, he saw a child who needed someone to care, just like Lily had needed him when her mother died. "Okay," Marcus said. "I'll think about it." The Queen nodded. "That is all I ask." She turned to leave, her guards following. But Zintha looked back over her mother's shoulder. She waved one small clawed hand at Marcus and Lily. They waved back. When the dragons were gone, Marcus sat down right there on the dirty floor. His legs felt like water. "Daddy," Lily said, "are we going to live with dragons?" "Maybe, kiddo," Marcus said. "Maybe we are." He looked at the spot where the chest of money had been. Then he looked at his daughter's hopeful face. He had made his decision. He just did not know it yet. The planet Ixthal Prime looked like something from a fantasy book. Mountains touched the clouds. Cities were built into cliffsides, with towers that gleamed like jewels. Dragons flew through the air like birds. Marcus watched from the window of his new apartment. It was bigger than anywhere he had ever lived. The floors were made of polished stone. The furniture looked expensive. There was even a garden on the balcony. "Daddy, look!" Lily ran in from her bedroom. "My bed is floating." Marcus went to check. Sure enough, the bed hovered 2 feet off the ground, held up by some kind of technology he did not understand. "Just don't fall off," he said. It had been 2 weeks since they arrived, 2 weeks of feeling completely out of place. Everyone here was so formal, so serious. When dragons passed each other in the halls, they did not say hello. They made small bows and measured each other with their eyes. Marcus missed the chaos of the station. He missed people who smiled. "Ambassador Chen." A guard stood at his door. The guards always called him Ambassador, even though Marcus did not feel like one. "The Queen requests your presence." Marcus followed the guard through the palace. It was beautiful but cold. Everything was made of dark stone and metal. There were no pictures on the walls, no decorations, just displays of weapons and old battle armor. The Queen's office was huge. She sat behind a desk made from a single piece of black crystal. Zintha sat in the corner, reading from a tablet. When she saw Marcus, her face lit up, but she did not move. "Marcus Chen," the Queen said, "I have your first assignment." "Okay," Marcus said. He still was not used to being here. "I am told you are good with children," the Queen said. "I want you to create a program for the young nobles. They need to learn leadership skills." Marcus thought about the dragon children he had seen. They all acted like little adults, stiff, formal, unhappy. "What kind of program?" he asked. "That is for you to decide," the Queen said. "You are the expert on human development. Teach them what you think is important." Marcus looked at Zintha. She was watching him hopefully. "Can I teach them my way?" Marcus asked. "Even if it is different from how you do things?" The Queen considered this. "Yes. But if you fail, the debt is still unpaid, and I will find another task." "Deal," Marcus said. 3 days later, Marcus stood in a large room with 12 young dragons. They ranged from age 5 to age 10 in human years. They all sat in perfect rows, backs straight, hands folded. "Good morning," Marcus said. "Good morning, Ambassador Chen," they said in unison. Their voices had no emotion. Marcus sighed. This was going to be harder than he thought. "Okay, new rule," he said. "In this room, you can just call me Marcus. And we are going to do something different today." The children looked confused. "We are going to play," Marcus said. One of the older children, a green-scaled boy named Vorix, raised his hand. "Play is for hatchlings. We are here to learn." "You are here to learn," Marcus agreed. "But sometimes the best learning happens during play." He pulled out a ball from his bag. Just a simple rubber ball from the station. "This is a game called catch," Marcus said. "I throw the ball to you, you throw it to someone else. But here is the rule. Before you throw it, you have to say one thing that makes you happy." The children stared at him. "I will go first," Marcus said. He tossed the ball to Zintha. "My daughter's laugh makes me happy." Zintha caught the ball awkwardly. She looked at it like it might explode. She started, then stopped. "I do not know what makes me happy." Marcus felt his heart break a little. "That's okay. What about things you like? What do you like to do?" Zintha thought hard. "I like when the sun comes through my window in the morning." "That's perfect," Marcus said. "Now throw the ball to someone." Slowly, carefully, the game began. At first, the children were stiff and awkward. They said things like, "I appreciate efficiency," or "I value strength." But Marcus kept pushing. "No, that is what you think you should say. What do you actually like?" A small blue dragon named Sinia finally said, "I like the smell of the flowers in the garden." Another said, "I like how clouds look." Vorix, the serious green dragon, took the longest. When the ball finally came to him, he held it for a full minute. He said slowly, "I like swimming in the lake, when no one is watching, because then I can splash and make waves." The other children gasped. Making waves was inefficient. Making noise was inappropriate. Marcus grinned. "That sounds fun. I bet you are good at it." Something changed in Vorix's eyes, like a light turning on. The game continued. The children started to relax. They laughed when someone dropped the ball. They made jokes. They acted like children. Then the door opened. General Karavex stood there, a massive red dragon in military uniform. His face was hard and angry. "What is the meaning of this?" he demanded. All the children immediately sat down in their rows. Silent, stiff, the change was instant. "We are learning," Marcus said calmly. "Learning?" The general's voice was like rocks grinding. "They are playing with toys, making noise, acting like undisciplined hatchlings." "They are being children," Marcus said, "because that is what they are." The general stepped into the room. You are teaching them weakness. Emotions are a liability. They must learn control. They must learn balance, Marcus countered. You cannot control what you do not understand. If you never let them feel happy, how will they recognize it in others? If you never let them play, how will they learn to be creative? This is not our way, the general said. Maybe your way needs to change, Marcus said. The two of them stared at each other. Marcus knew he should be afraid. This dragon could kill him with one hand. But he thought about Zintha, who did not know what made her happy. He thought about Vorix, who had to hide his love of splashing. He thought about Lily, who laughed every day. I will speak to the queen about this, the general said. He turned and left. The children looked scared. It is okay, Marcus said. Nothing bad will happen. But he was not sure if that was true. That night, Marcus was summoned to the queen's private chambers. She sat by a window looking out at the stars. Zintha was already asleep in the next room. General Carvex is very angry, the queen said. I know, Marcus said. He says you are corrupting the youth, making them soft. I am teaching them to be whole, Marcus said. There is a difference. The queen turned to look at him. Explain. Marcus sat down without being asked. He was tired of formality. Your people are strong, he said. Maybe the strongest in the galaxy. Your military is unmatched. Your technology is amazing. But you have forgotten something important. What? The queen asked. Why you fight, Marcus said. You are so focused on being strong that you have forgotten what you are protecting. If your children never feel joy, what is the point of keeping them safe? If they never connect with each other, what kind of future are you building? The queen was quiet for a long time. After you left that day at the station, she finally said, I held my daughter for the first time in years, really held her. Do you know what she said to me? Marcus shook his head. She asked if I loved her, the queen said. Her voice cracked slightly. She had to ask, because I had never shown her. Marcus felt a lump in his throat. I have been thinking about your words, the queen continued. About compassion, about showing emotion. In our culture, these things are seen as weakness because they can be used against us. If an enemy knows what you love, they can use it to hurt you. That is true, Marcus agreed. But if you never love anything, if you never connect with anyone, then you are already hurt. You are already alone. The queen stood and walked to the window again. You saw the children today. When the general arrived, how did they react? They went back to being scared, Marcus said. Exactly, the queen said, because we have taught them that emotions are dangerous. But watching you with them, I saw something different. I saw them learn to recognize their feelings and then choose what to do with them. That is not weakness. That is strength. She turned back to Marcus. Continue your program. I will deal with the general. But I want to see results. Show me that your way works. Marcus stood up. I will need time. You cannot undo years of conditioning in a few weeks. You have 3 months, the queen said. At the end, there will be an evaluation. The council will decide if your program continues or if we return to traditional methods. And if they decide against me? Marcus asked. The queen smiled slightly. Then I suggest you make a very good impression. Marcus left the queen's chambers. His mind was already working. 3 months to prove that compassion and strength could coexist. 3 months to change minds that had been set for centuries. It was impossible. But then again, so was a single dad from a cargo station teaching dragons how to feel. Marcus had done impossible things before. He had raised Lily alone when everyone said he could not. He had survived on almost no money. He had made a dragon queen question her traditions. He could do this. He had to. Because somewhere in the palace, 12 children were finally learning what it meant to be happy. and he was not going to let anyone take that away from them. 2 months had passed. Marcus's program had grown from 12 children to 30. Word had spread among the noble families. Some thought he was dangerous. Others were curious about the changes they saw in their children. Vorix, the serious green dragon, now led group activities with confidence and joy. Sinia had started a garden club where young dragons grew flowers together. Even the older children, who had been the most resistant, were learning to express themselves. But not everyone was happy. General Carvex had gathered supporters. Marcus heard whispers in the hallways. Traditional nobles who thought human ways were corrupting their culture. Military leaders who saw emotions as a weakness that enemies could exploit. Marcus tried not to worry. He focused on the children. That was what mattered. Then everything changed. It was a normal teaching day. Marcus was showing the children how to work together to solve a puzzle. They were laughing and arguing in friendly ways. This was good. They were learning that disagreement did not mean disrespect. Suddenly, alarms blared throughout the palace. Guards rushed into the room. "Everyone to the safe chambers, now!" The children looked scared. Marcus kept his voice calm. "Listen to the guards. Stay together." As the children filed out, a guard grabbed Marcus's arm. "The Queen wants you in the command center!" Marcus ran through the palace corridors. He had never seen such chaos. Dragons were flying in all directions. Soldiers were putting on armor. Something big was happening. The command center was filled with screens showing space battles and ground positions. Queen Ixathara stood in the center, giving orders. General Carvex stood beside her. "What is happening?" Marcus asked. "The Void Syndicate has attacked one of our colonies," the Queen said without looking away from the screens. "They have taken hostages, including 15 children from a school." Marcus felt his stomach drop. "Children." "Yes." The Queen's voice was hard. "They are demanding we withdraw our military from the border sectors. They have given us 12 hours. General Carvex pointed to a tactical display. "I recommend we send in strike teams immediately. Fast and hard. We may lose some hostages, but we will send a message that we do not negotiate with terrorists." "How many hostages might we lose?" Marcus asked quietly. "Perhaps half," the general said. "It is unfortunate, but acceptable losses." "Acceptable?" Marcus could not believe what he was hearing. "We are talking about children. We are talking about showing strength," the general snapped. "If we negotiate, we look weak. Others will try the same thing." The Queen looked between them. Her face showed nothing. "Marcus Chen, you are here as an advisor on human methods. What would humans do?" Marcus took a breath. His mind was racing. "Humans would try to save every single child." "That is impossible," the general said. "Maybe," Marcus said, "but we would try anyway, because every life matters, even if it is hard, even if it is risky." "And how would you do this?" the Queen asked. Marcus walked to the displays. He looked at the information about the Void Syndicate. They were not a military force. They were desperate people from poor sectors, people who felt ignored and abandoned. "They want to be heard," Marcus said. "They took hostages because it is the only way they can make you pay attention." "So we should reward their violence?" the general asked. "No," Marcus said. "But we should understand it. Fear and anger make people do terrible things. If we only respond with more violence, the cycle never ends." He pointed to the hostage location. "Let me talk to them." The entire room went silent. "You?" The general laughed. "You are not a negotiator. You are a cargo loader who plays games with children." "Exactly," Marcus said. "I am not military. I am not a threat. I am just a dad who understands what it is like to be desperate and scared." The Queen studied him. "If you fail, those children die. And you might die too. If we do nothing but attack, those children definitely die," Marcus said. "At least my way, there is a chance." Queen Ixathara was quiet for a long moment. Then she nodded. You will go with a military team, but you will lead the negotiation. The general will plan a rescue operation as backup. We try both approaches. This is foolish, the general protested. It is decided, the queen said with finality. 4 hours later, Marcus stood on a transport ship heading to the colony. He wore a simple civilian suit with a white flag symbol on it. His hands were shaking. Commander Sixra, the dragon leading the military team, briefed him. We will position snipers around the building. If negotiation fails, we go in fast. How fast? Marcus asked. 30 seconds from when you give the signal. Marcus nodded. He thought about Lily, safe back at the palace. He had left her a video message, just in case. The thought made his chest hurt. The colony was a mining settlement. Gray buildings under a gray sky. The hostages were in the school building. Marcus could see armed syndicate members at the windows. He stepped out of the transport alone. His heart pounded so hard he could hear it. I am Marcus Chen, he called out. I am not military. I am not armed. I just want to talk. A voice came over a speaker. Go away, human. We will only speak to the Queen. The Queen sent me, Marcus said. Because I am a father. I have a daughter. I know you have taken children. Let me come in and talk. No tricks, no weapons. There was a long pause. Then the door opened slightly. Walk slowly, hands up. Marcus walked forward. His legs felt like water. The door opened wider. Rough hands pulled him inside and pushed him against a wall. They searched him for weapons and found nothing. The syndicate leader was a thin alien with gray skin and too many eyes. He looked exhausted and scared. Behind him, Marcus could see the children huddled in a corner. Some were crying. Dragon children, forced to be brave even when terrified. I am Velcor, the leader said. Why should I listen to you? Because I think you do not want to hurt those children, Marcus said. I think you are desperate. I think you have tried everything else and nobody listened. Velcor's eyes widened in surprise. You understand nothing. Then help me understand, Marcus said. Tell me what is happening. And Velcor did. He talked about how the syndicate sectors were dying, how they had asked for help for years, how the Draconis Imperium took their resources but gave nothing back, how his own children were sick because the water was polluted. Marcus listened, really listened. He did not argue. He did not defend. He just heard the pain and fear in Velcor's voice. I believe you, Marcus said when Velcor finished, and I believe the Queen will listen. But not like this. Not with hostages. This is the only way to make them pay attention, Velcor said. No, Marcus said. There is another way. Let me show you. He pulled out his communicator, moving slowly so no one would panic. I am going to connect to the Queen. You can tell her everything you just told me. I will make sure she listens. Why would you do this? Velcor asked. Because you are right, Marcus said. People should not have to threaten children to be heard. But you are also wrong. Those children in the corner are scared. They did not make the decisions you are angry about. They are just kids. Velcor looked at the hostages. Marcus saw something in the alien's face. Shame. Regret. I did not want this, Velcor whispered. But what choice did I have? You have a choice right now, Marcus said. You can be the person who hurt children out of desperation. Or you can be the person who protected them while fighting for change. Which story do you want to tell? Marcus opened the communication channel. The Queen's face appeared on the screen. Your Majesty, Marcus said. This is Velcor. He has something to say, and I think you need to hear it. What happened next took 3 hours. Velcor spoke. The Queen listened. Marcus mediated, translating not just words but feelings, helping both sides see each other as people instead of enemies. In the end, an agreement was reached. The syndicate would release the hostages. The Draconis Imperium would send aid to the dying sectors and open negotiations about fair resource distribution. Both sides had to compromise. Both sides had to trust. When the children walked out of the building, safe and unharmed, Marcus felt his knees give out. He sat down right there on the ground. Commander Sixra approached him. "That was the bravest thing I have ever seen, human." "I was terrified the whole time," Marcus admitted. "That is what made it brave," the commander said. The transport ride back was quiet. Marcus stared out the window, thinking about everything that had happened. He had gambled with children's lives. It could have gone so wrong. But it had not, because he had chosen to see Velcor as a person. A desperate father trying to save his own children, and that connection had made all the difference. When they landed at the palace, the queen was waiting. She said nothing. She just looked at Marcus for a long moment. Then she bowed her head. Slightly. Just a fraction. For a dragon queen to bow to anyone was unheard of. The watching crowd gasped. "You have shown me something today, Marcus Chen," the queen said. "You have shown me that strength and compassion are not opposites. They are partners. One without the other is incomplete." General Carvex stood nearby. His face was hard to read. Marcus was too tired to care. He just wanted to see Lily. But he knew this was not over. The general had lost this round. And losing made dangerous people do desperate things. Marcus would soon learn just how desperate. The evaluation day arrived. 3 months had passed since Marcus started his program. Today, the Noble Council would decide if his methods would continue or be shut down forever. Marcus stood in his apartment, putting on his best clothes. They were still simple compared to what dragons wore, but they were clean and neat. Lily helped him with his tie. "You are going to do great, Daddy," she said. Marcus smiled at his daughter. She had grown so much in the past months. She had friends now, both human and dragon. She loved her school. She was happy. "I hope so, kiddo," he said. A knock at the door. It was Zintha, dressed in formal princess robes, but her eyes were worried. "Marcus," she said, "I heard General Carvex talking. He has a plan. He is going to challenge you today." "I know," Marcus said. "Your mother told me." "I do not want you to go," Zintha said. "The general hates you. He wants you gone." Marcus knelt down to her level. "Hey, remember what I taught you? Fear is okay, but we do not let it make our choices." "But what if something bad happens?" Zintha asked. "Then we handle it," Marcus said. "Together." The Great Council chamber was enormous. Rows of seats rose up in a circle, filled with noble dragons in expensive robes. At the center was an open space where Marcus would have to stand. The queen sat on the highest throne. She looked distant and formal. This was not his friend. This was the ruler of an empire. General Carvex stood to one side, wearing his full military uniform with all his medals. Marcus walked to the center. His footsteps echoed in the silence. Chancellor Morath, an ancient blue dragon, spoke first. "Marcus Chen, you have been given 3 months to prove that your human methods have value to our society. The council will now hear evidence and render judgment." Dragons came forward one by one. Some spoke in favor of Marcus. Parents whose children were happier, more creative, more confident. Teachers who saw improved learning. Commander Sixra spoke about the hostage rescue and how Marcus's empathy had saved lives. But others spoke against him. Traditional nobles who said the old ways had kept the empire strong for thousands of years. Military officers who worried that emotions would make soldiers weak. Then General Carvex stepped forward. "I do not question that Marcus Chen is kind," the general said. His voice filled the chamber. "But kindness is not enough to run an empire. While he teaches children to feel happy, I teach them to be strong. While he negotiates with terrorists, I prepare for war. The galaxy is not a safe place. Our strength has protected us. His compassion will destroy us." The crowd murmured in agreement. Many heads nodded. "I invoke the trial of leadership," the general announced. The crowd gasped. Even the Queen sat up straighter. "The what?" Marcus asked. Chancellor Morath explained. "An ancient rite. 2 philosophies of leadership are tested in a practical scenario. Whoever proves more effective wins." "And if I refuse?" Marcus asked. "Then you are declared unfit to teach our young," the Chancellor said. "Your program ends immediately." Marcus looked at the Queen. She said nothing. She could not. This was council law. "What is the test?" Marcus asked. "A simulation," the general said with a sharp smile. "We will each lead a team through the same crisis. A plague has struck a colony. Resources are limited. Civil unrest is growing. How we handle it will show whose method is superior." Marcus swallowed hard. "Okay, I accept." The crowd roared with approval. Dragons loved tests of strength. The simulation chamber was enormous, with holographic displays that made everything feel real. Marcus stood in one control room. The general was in another. They would both face the same scenario, but could not see each other's approaches. The simulation began. A colony world appeared on the screens. 10,000 residents, half of them sick with a fast-spreading plague. Medical supplies were running low. Food was scarce. People were panicking. Marcus took a breath and looked at his assigned team. 5 young dragons who had been in his program, including Vorax and Sinia. "Okay, team," Marcus said. "Let's figure this out together. What do we need to do first?" "Save the sick people," Sinia said immediately. "But we do not have enough medicine for everyone," Vorax pointed out. Marcus nodded. "Right. So we need to make hard choices. But let's also think about why people are panicking. What are they afraid of?" The young dragons thought about it. "They are afraid of dying," one said. "They are afraid they will not get help," another added. "They are afraid no one cares," Vorax said quietly. "Exactly," Marcus said. "So we need to address their fears while solving the practical problems. How do we do that?" They worked together. Marcus's team created a communication network so people could share information. They organized community groups where healthy people helped care for the sick. They were honest about the limited resources but showed people they mattered. When medicine ran short, they focused on preventing new infections through education. When food was scarce, they set up fair distribution systems where the community decided together who needed what most. It was messy, it was slow, but the people in the simulation felt heard and valued. Meanwhile, in the other room, General Carvex used traditional methods. He imposed strict rationing. He used military force to prevent looting. He made hard decisions quickly and efficiently. His approach was faster, more organized. But the simulation showed growing resentment among the people. They followed orders but did not trust the leadership. After 2 hours, both simulations ended. The results appeared on a main screen for everyone to see. General Carvex's colony had survived. Losses were acceptable. Order was maintained. But the final data showed that 50% of the population wanted to leave. Trust in leadership was low. Long-term stability was questionable. Marcus's colony also survived. Losses were slightly higher in the short term. But 90% of people reported feeling supported. They had formed strong community bonds. They trusted their leaders. Long-term projections showed a stable, resilient society. The council chamber was silent as the dragons studied the data. "The general's method saved more lives in the immediate crisis," Chancellor Morath observed. "But the humans' method created a stronger community," another council member said. General Carvex stood. Immediate survival is what matters. You can build community after the crisis. Can you? Marcus asked. He stood as well. Your simulation showed that people were ready to leave as soon as they could. They survived, but they did not thrive. They followed orders, but they did not believe in the system. He walked to the center of the chamber. I am not saying your way is wrong, General. Military strength matters. Efficiency matters. But they are not enough. A society built only on force and fear will always be fragile. People need to feel valued. They need to trust that their leaders care about them as individuals, not just numbers. Feelings do not win wars, the general said. No, Marcus agreed, but they win peace, and peace is what allows a civilization to truly flourish. Queen Ixthara finally spoke. Her voice cut through the chamber like a blade. General Carvex, your methods have served us well for centuries. They have kept us strong. They have won us many victories. The general looked triumphant. But, the queen continued, we have also been alone. Other species fear us but do not trust us. We have allies but no friends. We have conquered territory but not hearts. She stood and walked down to the center chamber. All eyes followed her. I watched Marcus Chen give his only meal to my daughter when she was a stranger to him. He asked for nothing in return. This confused me. In our culture, such an action made no sense. The queen looked at Marcus. But I have been watching. I have seen children in his program become more confident, more creative, more capable. I have seen him turn an enemy into a partner through understanding. I have seen him risk his life for children who are not his own. She turned to address the full council. Strength and compassion are not opposites. They are two sides of the same coin. We have mastered one. Marcus Chen is teaching us the other. So his program continues? The general asked, his voice tight. More than that, the queen said. I am making it mandatory for all noble children, and I am establishing a new academy for integrated leadership, combining our traditional strength with human emotional intelligence. Marcus Chen will lead it. The general's face showed rage. You would let this human change everything we are? No, the queen said firmly. I would let him help us become everything we could be. She looked at her daughter Zintha, sitting in the family section. The princess was smiling, tears of joy in her golden eyes. My daughter asked me once if I loved her, the queen said quietly. She had to ask because I had never shown it. I was so focused on making her strong that I forgot to make her happy. Marcus Chen reminded me that a good leader, a good parent, must do both. The general turned and left the chamber. Some of the traditional nobles followed him, but most stayed. Marcus could see curiosity in their eyes, maybe even hope. The vote was called. The council approved the queen's plan by a wide margin. Marcus felt his knees go weak. He had won. The program would continue. After the formal session ended, people crowded around Marcus. Dragons who wanted to learn more, parents who thanked him, young dragons from his program who hugged him despite protocol. Later, in a quiet moment, Queen Ixthara approached him. She held Zintha's hand. Thank you, Marcus Chen, she said, for showing me that being strong enough to care is the greatest strength of all. You did not need me to teach you that, Marcus said. You already knew it. You just needed permission to show it. The queen smiled. It was the first time Marcus had seen her really smile. Perhaps. But sometimes we all need someone to remind us of what matters. She looked down at Zintha. My daughter asked if you would join us for dinner tonight. As a family. Not as an ambassador or teacher. Just as Marcus. Marcus felt warmth in his chest. I would like that. Can Lily come too? Of course, the queen said. Family is not just blood. It is who we choose to care for. That night, Marcus sat at a dinner table with Lily, Zintha, and the Queen. They ate simple food and told stories. The Queen laughed at Marcus's terrible jokes. Zintha and Lily made plans to visit the floating gardens tomorrow. It was not formal, it was not proper, it was just real. Later, after the children were asleep, Marcus stood on his balcony looking at the stars. The Queen joined him. "Do you ever regret it?" she asked. "Giving away that sandwich? It changed your entire life." Marcus thought about his tiny apartment on the station, his exhausting job, his constant worry about money. Then he thought about Lily's happiness, about Zintha's smile, about a whole generation of young dragons learning that strength and kindness could coexist. "No," he said, "I do not regret it. That sandwich cost me maybe 2 credits, but it bought something priceless." "What?" the Queen asked. "Hope," Marcus said. "Hope that people can change, that cultures can grow, that kindness matters." The Queen nodded. "And now that hope is spreading. Other species have heard about the human who changed the Draconis Imperium through compassion. They are asking for teachers like you. They want to learn the Terra method." Marcus laughed. "The Terra method. That is just a fancy way of saying, be nice to people." "Sometimes the simplest truths are the most powerful," the Queen said. Years would pass. Marcus's academy would train thousands of students, both dragon and otherwise. The Draconis Imperium would become known not just for military might, but for wise, compassionate leadership. Other species would seek alliance not from fear, but from respect. And it all started because one tired father could not walk past a crying child without helping. Because in the end, that is what humanity did best. Not the biggest ships or the strongest weapons, just the simple, radical act of caring about someone else. That was the real strength. That was what would change the galaxy. One sandwich at a time,